You are now listening to Talk Your Jits podcast.
Welcome back to the Talk Your Jits podcast. This podcast is, as the name implies, all about Jiu-Jitsu. I'm your host, Lamar Smith, and today's guest is a blue belt who owns is Feral Jiu-Jitsu, located in Springfield, Illinois. Ladies and gentlemen, Jacob McDonald.
How we doing, guys?
What's going on, brother?
Nice to meet you, Lamar.
Man, likewise. The pleasure's all mine, man. How you doing today?
Pretty good. My day off, so I'm just excited to be here with you.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, let's get the ball rolling, man. Let's get the people what they want. If you want to introduce yourself again, by all means, and let's hear your jiu-jitsu journey.
So my name is Jacob McDonald. I'm a blue belt here in Springfield, Illinois. I own Feral BJJ, a school that I've been running for about half a year. Prior to that, I trained at Gracie Humida for, I'd say, about maybe two and a half years. I have probably about 10 years of grappling experience total. I was a wrestler in high school. 8th grade, I liked it, but I didn't really get into it too much. So I quit. Wanted to maybe impress my dad or something like that. So back in high school, about junior year, I tried it out again. Had a little bit more success, so it kept me in there. Senior year, I was probably about a 50-50 wrestler, but I started developing a passion for the sport. It started to make me feel more able to just stand tall in any room that I was in. You know, I didn't feel like, because I used to get bullied. I used to get bullied. I grew up in an all-white town, Auburn, Illinois, which is pretty close to Springfield. And I used to get bullied, and wrestling was kind of my way of growing out of that, because people realize, you can't really bully a wrestler. You know what I'm saying? Not that I'm not that I was the kind of person that I'm actually like a really kind person is the thing. So I'm not like really assertive in that way, but it was obvious after a certain point that, I couldn't be bullied like that anymore, which was a beautiful thing. And I realized it myself. So it started making me understand that martial arts was a avenue to not only learn how to defend yourself, but to learn how to be confident in yourself. So it's been a very beautiful journey for me, learning from wrestling. I remember my dad, so my jiu-jitsu journey really starts from my dad talking about his favorite fighter, Ken Shamrock, losing to Royce Gracie. He said the guy in the pajamas beat his favorite fighter. And so I'm hearing about it, and he's telling me about it, and he ends up pulling it up on the computer, and I see this man in the pajamas choke out Ken Shamrock, and I'm like, wow, there's really something to this. And after wrestling in high school, I really, really wanted to continue grappling, whether or not it was like, somehow getting into college and doing some kind of low level wrestling, or I remember hearing my dad talk about this man in the pajamas who choked out Ken. So I looked up on my phone, if there was anything like jiu-jitsu around here, and I had found a place called Grand Central Training Facility right after high school, and they were like an MMA based gym, but they had jiu-jitsu in there. And one of the local gyms that is not really local, but close to Springfield, about 2 hours away, is Mount Vernon Pedigo. And they had some students from there who were training there at Grand Central. And when I came there to Grand Central, they were like already doing their thing with the jiu-jitsu, but I had some good wrestling. So we were like going back and forth, and I was showing them my wrestling, and they were showing me their jiu-jitsu, and I fell in love with it. It's just like the movements became natural after wrestling. It was very natural to me. So I've had lots of fun since then, just learning the art. And about 5 years after that moment is whenever I joined Gracie Humida. So I was able to get my blue belt in about 8 months, but I've been training a lifetime.
Nice. Right. Okay.
That's what I got going on pretty much. And it's just something I love a lot. And, starting Feral BJJ is pretty big for me. Honestly, I really hate talking about my departure from Gracie Humida, because really it was really a disagreement between me and the coach, because I loved everybody there. I loved the journey that I had there. I loved the evolution that I had there, but I was only there for about two and a half years. And unfortunately, after the falling out with me and my coach, my old coach from Grand Central Training Facility who trained the MMA or whatnot, heard that I didn't have a gym that I was training at, and he was like, "Oh no," he was like, "Come train with me." And so I started training with him, and then we worked out something to where he does his own MMA class, and then I run my own jiu-jitsu business within his gym. So it's been a blessing. I have about maybe 4 loyal students. It's a very small business, but it's very, very cool to be able to see the teaching side of things versus just the worrying about yourself evolving side of things. So it's a real blessing. Having one student who's won a couple tournaments and done well has really shown me the beauty of being able to be a coach. So it's a journey that's the eventual goal. I want to try and get as many accolades as possible within the sport, and hopefully people will want to come train under me. And I didn't expect to be able to have a gym spot this early, but I have it, and I love it. I love being able to train with my students. But the goal is to eventually make it a bigger thing and brand Pharaoh BJJ in a bigger way.
Yeah, man, because it's not often you hear someone, at blue belt start their own school.
Right.
It's unfortunately one of the things we have to deal with in the jiu-jitsu community is that gatekeeping. So
right.
I guess what's been like obviously, you just started, so it's building. But what's been like the most difficult thing so far? Not only being a blue belt, but being a school owner as well.
Right. So, that's a very interesting question. I'm very happy that you asked that question specifically because it really, really relates. There's going to be a lot of people who don't think you're qualified, and most people that I've taught or had the blessing to taught, they knew of my skill before they ever joined the gym. So it's been very, very hard for me to brand my business in a way because that's why I'm trying to get as many accolades as possible. I competed at the ADCC Open in Chicago whenever it came about. I competed in the same division as or I think what was it, -99. So maybe Couch and Ryan Atkin. I went up against Ryan Atkin first and lost to him, and I got a win in my second match, but I lost to number 8 after that, Dylan Melton. So I'm doing my best to try and climb and get some accolades and get some respect within the community so people will want to train with me. And I think that's the biggest issue that I have is people thinking I'm not qualified enough. It's like I don't have much to show them as far as accolades to make them want to think, that I might be a good teacher. But if you ask my students who've had some success, I'm okay. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I can teach somebody who doesn't know anything something.
I mean, you got 4 students, man.
Right.
That's an accomplishment within itself.
I appreciate that.
If you got one person, if you got 20, man, it doesn't matter. You got someone who's dedicated, that understands that you know what you're doing and they want to learn. So, I mean, it's from how you carry yourself, it obviously shows that you know what you're talking about. I know you're not over there McDojoing it, so because no one wants that light, man. That's like you open up a school like I don't want to become a McDojo. I don't want to become a McDojo. So
no, absolutely not. Honestly, I think that's another because I did listen to one of your other episodes, and one of your other coaches had said that he's catering to the masses, right? And I totally understand that because that's what's going to make money, right? But I'm not in a position where the masses are paying attention to me. So
right.
I'm really catering to the people who want to train hard and want to go somewhere, if you get what I'm saying. So it's like we train hard when we train. We train real hard when we train. And then if they want to meet me at East Forta, I let them meet me at East Forta and I get them in free pass or whatever so we can get some weight training in as well. Because I believe that's going to be the next evolution to my game is, there's some monsters out there. So I'm trying to work on becoming a monster myself. So far, but I know a physique paired with that skill will make me a more dangerous opponent for sure. So I'm trying to make sure I instill that in my students, instill that in myself. And it's just about staying motivated every day. And what motivates me is just wanting to make a better life for my family. Because I was born into poverty, and Everything I have right now, I've worked really, really hard for. I'm trying to show my son that it doesn't have to be like this. If you don't want it to be like this, you can make whatever you want of life. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm trying to carve a path for him to show him that it's very realistic. It's not impossible, and that's what motivates me every day to run my business, to work my USPS job, to do security, even though I don't like risking my life for $30 an hour. But it's good money, so I'll do it.
Good money. Right. Right.
So that's the journey that I'm on right now, is just trying to rise, break the generational curse of poverty that I was born into, show my family that there is a way that we can rise through poverty. It's just gonna take more than what we've done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just stay hopeful and stay grateful.
Yeah, man. It's just, I guess, everyone kind of have a motto for each year. And I think the motto for 2024 is, is how bad do you want it?
Ooh.
So it's like, just like in your situation, we started, me and my partner, we started a jiu-jitsu school within someone else's school, which was very fortunate for us.
Right.
And then I also started another place with another set of people. So we got 2 new schools that we got open.
Let's go.
As crazy as it may sound, it's just as difficult to say, is you as a blue belt who, people see that they might not think you know nothing at all. And me as a black belt, they expect me to know everything.
Right.
So it's a two-edged sword. It's like, okay, do you want that person who may know everything, but he don't have the quote unquote credentials to do so?
Right.
Or, do you want this person that's like, that's, I guess you want to say, supreme in jiu-jitsu. But for me, for example, I really haven't competed. I came from a small school, so a lot of this stuff is new to me. And, just having a black belt, they want to know what you're capable of.
Right.
So it's like, I get people ask me like, oh, do you compete? Do you do this, do that, do that? I'm like,
right.
I don't. I mean, I will. I plan on competing a lot this year.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was actually supposed to compete last weekend, but unfortunately I had surgery in December, which kind of put me on the sideline for like a month. So I was nowhere near ready for that tournament. But there's one in April that I'm gunning for, and
which one is
that? Grappling Industries.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I'm ready to get out there, man. I'm ready. I'm excited. It's my first tournament as a black belt. I'm ready to get that experience and knowledge out there, man, because I hated the idea of competing, because it was just like when I got into jiu-jitsu, it was kind of like I just did it for
as a
hobby, right. And it was like, it was something to do. I honestly wasn't expecting to fall in love with it like I did.
Right.
And it got, it took over my life, and now it's kind of like, yep, time to get, it's time to get out there, man. Time to get at it, man.
Man, that's awesome. It sounds like that this has been in the works for a while. So.
Yeah. I had one competition at purple. I had one at blue. No, wait, did I have 2 at purple? Wait a minute. No, I had one at purple, one at brown. So it's like now, being a black belt is okay. If I want to go out there, I want to go out there and grind. I want to go out there and give it my 100%, because that's what I haven't done yet.
Right.
Awesome. Yeah, because it's like I took it serious, but I don't think I took it serious enough. And it showed. It showed like a lot of the small mistakes that I was making. I was overthinking it. I was overshooting stuff. I got caught in the most weirdest. I saw it coming. He was falling. Like we got the tie up. He pulled guard to fall back for an armbar, and I saw it coming from a mile away, and I still let it happen. It's just like,
man, that's a good start though. Is where because trust me, half of the battle is being able to see it coming. Like I said, I'm learning how to be a physical specimen now. But beforehand, it was literally trying to get people to do things by doing things that I knew would make them make those reactions. So that way I would be ahead of it, and I would know where to be before they would even get there, if you get what I'm saying. So a lot of it was pre-planning, you know what I mean? But with physicality, you can really add a lot to that. You see what I'm saying? So I'm trying to add that aspect of jiu-jitsu and the athlete aspect of jiu-jitsu and merge it to see if it can help me get to the platform that I'm trying to get to. So
yeah. And honestly, because with Grappling Industries, I didn't find this out until a few months ago. Like, as a black belt, you can compete for free at Grappling Industries.
Right.
So I'm gonna take advantage of that. So I'm gonna try to compete as much as I can and do as many tournaments as I can to really hone it in, man. Because it's nothing like, I love training, I love getting at it in the gym, but sometimes you want to go out there and just kind of see where you at with someone who doesn't know your game.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, I got the blessing of having I don't know his name off the top of my head, which is gonna kill me. But I had a blessing of this trucker brown belt came by and shared some of his knowledge, and that was a blessing to have him come through. And he had showed me a lot of respect as well, so it was also like a good confirmation of, like, I'm on the right track, if you get what I'm saying. So it was like it made me feel like, Pharaoh BJJ is here, you know what I mean? Which
yeah,
to have somebody call and ask me if they had if we had a spot where they could park their semi real quick. I was blessed to be able to say we do. So I was like, yeah, come on in. And he came in and he didn't disappoint. And I'm sure I didn't disappoint him. And it was really cool exchange. It was very, very cool exchange.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So what was it about, like, your first time teaching?
I would say it was a little bit, I was a little bit hesitant on what I wanted to teach first, I guess, to my students, because I'm really sport based, but I know that self-defense is very, very, it's very important too. Like, if you're going to learn jiu-jitsu, you really need to learn, like, how to handle yourself when punches are coming too. You know what I mean? So I didn't really know, like, how I wanted to start teaching. But when I got into the group, which was initially when I first have a student come in, I will show them how to handle, like, say, an intelligent fighter and then a non-intelligent fighter, which I will give credit to my previous instructor over at Gracie Humaida. It was a very, very good system on how he would teach people at the very beginning. He showed us how to basically handle somebody whenever they were you could tell they were intelligent and they're starting to, like, square up and throw jabs at you, or you could have a scenario where somebody is obviously walking towards you and they're coming at you with, like, a haymaker, or you had a scenario where they're walking at you, talking at you violently. You want to put your hands up just in case. If somebody's coming at you aggressive, you put your hands up in front of you just in case. That way you mitigate having to put your hands up when a punch is coming, right when the punch is coming. You know what I'm saying? Your hands are right. Why are you coming so close? You know what I'm saying? So that was a good thing that always was instilled in me. So I started teaching. Whenever I started teaching, it was, showing the self-defense and stuff like that. I learned as I was teaching that it's not so easy to teach. It's really not. It's it's really an acquired skill. You might be able to do amazing things on the mat, but being able to transfer that onto somebody else takes a whole nother skill. And it really, really was humbling and it was a blessing that the student that I had at the time had a lot of respect for my ability. So he was really, really working with me when I'm trying to explain my mind to him. And through working with him, it's been a much easier process working with the other 3 students that I've had. So it's just been a very, very blessing that I had him as my first student. And he has become a monster in about 6 months. It's amazing to see somebody's evolution, because I never thought he would have gotten so, like, I'll toot his horn. Like, he's gotten great. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's got, and I can't believe it. It's only been 6 months. It blows my mind. It, like, literally, because he's not learned from anybody else. And that blows my mind. It's like, what? It's like, how are you this good, bro? You've been studying at home or something. So,
right.
He had to have been, but definitely been a blessing, man. It's been a blessing teaching for sure.
Oh yeah, man. It opens up a different mindset, man, when it comes to actually learning jujitsu and learning jujitsu through yourself. Because not only do you have to like, learn jujitsu, you have to teach it. So it's like, okay, how can I break this down enough so someone can be like, oh, okay, I see what you're trying to do.
Which helps you in turn learn what you're teaching even better. Because it's like you have to understand how to break it down to a way where you can show someone else. So you have to understand the move on a verbal level.
Mm-hmm.
Versus just I call it a flow level. Because for me, I you know what I'm saying, because I can do things and not talk about it again. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But to show somebody else, that takes a real skill. And so I give like super props to somebody like John Danaher who has like a legion of people who he's explained something in depth like leg attacks like that. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
it's not easy.
Yeah.
Not easy.
I mean, because the most I've taught, maybe it was like seven people were like the most I've taught in one class. But, just being able to, take a technique, do it, and then try to break it down and explain to someone, and you got all these questions coming. You got like, oh, how can I make, like, I can't get this, I can't, get this part, or I can't do this, or I can't do that. So
right.
Yeah, it takes a special kind of crazy to want to teach jujitsu.
For sure. Because you're gonna run into things like people have different body types, people have different mentalities. That's another thing that I feel like really helps me with my aspect of coaching is I know that people are going to be totally different, and I don't expect the same thing out of everybody. You know what I mean? I really individualize the training. Like if I see that somebody's at a certain level, like I'm not expecting the same thing I'm expecting out of my, say my first student, if you get what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
A bigger, like I have a friend who's really big. You know what I'm saying? He's one of my best friends, and he used to wrestle. So, and sometimes when I can get him to, he'll come out on the mat with me. You know what I'm saying? And when we're standing up, he's a tank. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's a tank. It's really hard to even try and grapple with him because he's a tank while standing up. He's like so powerful. But once I get him to play my game or get on top, or it was a shocker. I was afraid to pull guard against somebody that big at first, but I did it anyway, and I was able to make it work. And so it really shows that like different body types, I'm not going to be able to teach him the same way that I taught myself or that I taught Dason. You know what I'm saying? Like it's total different experience teaching him because he can't necessarily do the same things, but he can do other things that Dason totally can't do or that I can't do because I'm not as strong. Do you see what I'm saying? So I have to be able to see a vision for his body type, if you get what I'm saying, and be able to instruct that to him. So it's like a whole different.
And the best way I can suggest on handling that is not necessarily focus on like the technique itself, just focus on the fundamentals of it. Because if you give someone the fundamentals of an armbar or any type of arm lock or anything, they'll eventually figure it out themselves. Right. I mean, obviously they'll have you to kind of like help coach them along. Because actually one of the other guys I did an episode with, he's a black belt. He's been training for a while, and he kind of like, implanted that concept, like, not necessarily teaching someone a technique, but just give them a concept of one. Like, for example, like I want you to do a guard pass. You like obviously you don't know what a guard pass is, but you just give them the fundamentals, like getting past their legs. Finding ways of getting past their legs. And it kind of gives people minds working a little bit because, you kind of, if you're steady throwing techniques and terminologies at these people, they're going to be like, what the heck is you talking about? Right. But if you like, okay, how you do a guard pass, you do this, you do that, you do this. The fundamentals of a guard pass.
Exactly.
Give them that and then let them work that out and then critique and coach afterwards.
I agree.
Because it is hard to teach someone who like who was smaller, who was wider, bigger, who was way more hyper flexible. But I've been in those situations where it's like I'll be teaching Americana, or we doing an arm lock series, and I got someone who's like turned all the way over like this, trying to do Americana or something, and it's like they're like, I can't get it, and it's like, okay, well, let's see what's going on. Like, okay, this person's hyper flexible, right? So it's like you had to just adapt to it, but. That's like the best advice I can give on that, man.
And I appreciate that. One of my favorite things is like being able to kind of like help somebody learn the game that they want to adopt, because obviously somebody like like as big as my friend, he's not going to be playing guard like that. You know what I mean? So he needs to be playing. He needs to be, everything that he does needs to be to stay on top and to be smashing, to be passing, and to be finishing. You know what I mean? So like that's how I'm showing him how to do it. And my other student who's way more flexible and who likes the leg entanglements, pull guard, you know what I mean? But in a self-defense scenario, I always stress, you never, ever, and please let me repeat this on the podcast, do never, ever pull guard in a self-defense scenario, ever. So you wanna rely on your wrestling, you wanna rely on if you can throw punches and take some, you want to rely on that. You want to get it to the ground in a standing fashion. You do not want to end up on your back. You can get stomped out. You can get punched from on top. You can get, anything can happen. People can smash chairs on you. If it's a real fight, if it's a real, I do security. So, I've been in every kind of scenario that you could think of. And, people will hit you with bottles. People will do all kinds of stuff. So you got to be careful out there. You got to really, really.
Yeah.
You got to, so that's, honestly, that's why I keep it really, I'm a peaceful person. Not outside the gym. If it's not inside the gym, I don't want no part of it. The only reason why I'm in scenarios like that is because I do security, and it's because they pay me $30 an hour. If it wasn't for that number, you feel me though? You feel me? Like,
I got you.
I would not be there. So it's like, Foxy, what are you doing? But yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about that. So.
Oh yeah. As much violence as I love when it comes to martial arts, I'm that too, man. I'm peaceful. I don't like confrontation. I kind of like to just chill. I've done security before. Had to kind of use jiu-jitsu. Didn't care for it at all. But yeah, it's not.
It's very, very much different. Thank God I'm an athletic person. Because I use a lot of my athleticism to help me in those type of scenarios. Because people, if they see somebody that they care about getting grappled up, and if they've been drinking, you have no idea how they're going to be coming at you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's different when it's one-on-one, but when it's one on an infinite number of people, it's not the same. So it's like you're really, really risking your life. When you do something like that, especially at the place that I'm at, man, it's not very safe. It's not very safe. There's been shootings, all kinds of stuff. So. Oh
man, that's why it's $30 an hour.
That's fact. But I at home because I got a decent enough job. It's just, man, when you wave it in my face like that.
Right.
It's like,
right. I mean, like I said, man, I get it, man. As a school owner, as a father, man, I got two young girls, 8 and 3. So trust me, man. I understand, man. I understand you want the best life for them, and you wanted to give it to them the best, by any means, man. So trust me, I know.
Mm-hmm. It takes whatever it takes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why, and it doesn't matter what kind of like job I have. That's why I stay very, very positive. People, I've had different kinds of jobs in my life, and I know people have been like, I've done porta potties before, and I know people were probably expecting me to be like, oh, about it, but I wasn't, because every day I train jiu-jitsu or I'm doing something, or I'm studying jiu-jitsu, or I'm in the gym trying to get big for jiu-jitsu. And it's like, I have a goal in mind. And it's like every day I'm inching toward that goal, regardless of what I'm working at or doing. So I'm never in a depressed state about where I'm at. Right now, I got a really nice job. It's been a blessing at the USPS. But it doesn't matter if that were to change to, being a janitor, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I'm striving for greatness, and it takes people saying that to be able to even get there. So that's what
Oh
I'm
yeah,
greatness.
yeah, I agree, man. So for you, when was that moment you realized like jujitsu was your life? Like this is it.
That's a great question. That's a great question, and it wasn't really in a jujitsu setting. It was in a I'll encompass it in a grappling setting.
Okay.
It was my first match in high school for wrestling. That was the moment that I learned that I wanted to grapple for the rest of my life.
Okay.
My first match was against this, big black kid from Decatur, and at the time, I thought bigger black kids were, way more intimidating. As a child, I'm part black too, and I'm like, I thought big black kids were more intimidating than bigger white kids. It was just my thought. So I'm intimidated. I'm intimidated by this dude. So to keep some of these nerves down, I went and told my dad. I said, Dad, I'm gonna go in there. I said, I'm gonna throw in a half. I said, I'm gonna grab a single leg. I'm gonna throw in a half, and then I'm gonna pin him. Just like that's all I said to my dad. I said, I'm gonna grab a single leg. I'm gonna throw in a half. I'm gonna pin him. My dad looked at me. He said, I love you, son. No matter what. He goes, I'm proud of you. And I was like, and honestly, I played football prior to this, trying to impress my dad, because I always heard about how my older brother was very good at football. So I always wanted to impress my dad. It was a big thing in my life, trying to impress my dad. Mm-hmm. And so I eventually got on this wrestling mat. Here's this, situation I have to deal with. I got to go up against this big kid. I told my dad, go in there, single leg, half, pin him. I go in there, step on the mat. Terrible stance. This video is on YouTube for everybody to see. Auburn versus Decatur. I shoot the worst shot. I get a single leg. I somehow take him down. I throw in a half, and I pinned him. And my dad on the video, you can tell he stands up. And he's going, oh, he's going crazy, and everybody starts standing up at this point and starts clapping for me. And I'm getting chills thinking about it right now, because in football, I never got any type of a recognition like this. They never even let me play. But in wrestling, if you beat the guy that's in front of you, you get to play. So I was able to make that a reality. And in that moment when my dad stood up and was going crazy like that, like it made me realize like I wanted to chase that very, very, very moment like for the rest of my life. Like I never wanted that to stop. Like I just wanted to show my family that, I was worth something. So I really, really got into wrestling. And my senior year, as well as I was doing in the regular season, something very, very disappointing. I'm very disappointed in myself because I got out of high school barely. You know what I'm saying? I just did barely what I needed to do to get out of there. I wasn't really, applying myself. And that translated to me being ineligible for regionals. And I was expected to be able to win my regionals, and I was expected to make it to sectionals, maybe make it to state. You know what I'm saying? If I did well, you know what I'm saying? So because that's what I was hoping for. And I ended up getting the call down to the office. My coach just looking at me, and then the superintendent telling me that I was ineligible. And, I remember crying for a while. And then I remember going back to that wrestling because, they're expecting me not to show up anymore. You know what I'm saying? I went and I wrestled with them every day until state was over. And I remember going back there for that first practice and crying and telling everybody I was sorry. You know what I mean? But it was a very, very big moment for me because it was over. There was no more grappling. You know what I mean? I didn't do good in school, so I wasn't going to go to college and wrestle. My coach tried to take me to Milliken to meet their coaches and see if I could possibly get in there, but I need to get my grades up at Lincoln Land, which just never happened. So it was just over. You know what I mean? So I remembered, like I said, about my dad talking about Ken and Hoist, and that's what led me back into jiu-jitsu. And I remember getting on the mats with my friends at the time, Adam and Chris, at Grand Central, and from them jiu-jitsu at the very first time. And I was like, yo, this is dope. And then I remember doing my very first tournament, very, very wrestling heavy, and winning that tournament and my family there. And I would say that was the moment that solidified jiu-jitsu for me. But I was like, grappling has always been a thing. You know what I mean? So it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. It's been a journey, and it's not over.
Oh no, it's never over, man. It's never over. no matter how long you, no matter how long you, no matter how long you train, man, how it's never over.
Right.
Never.
Right.
It's always somewhere you can improve. It's always somewhere you can grow and learn. So yeah,
Or
it's gonna get,
put yourself out there in a new way. You know what I'm saying? Like how you're doing. Like you're about to,
yeah,
get that black belt. That's beautiful. So
yeah,
it's always something else to accomplish. So
yeah, man. It's crazy, man. It's so crazy. Like I would never in a million years thought I would be in a position where it's like I found I found a martial art because I've done I've done kickboxing, I've done a little bit of Muay Thai, I've done karate, I've did this joined this MMA club, and everything was cool about it, but it just didn't resonate with me.
right.
But when I got to jiu-jitsu, man, it was just like I tried it for the first day out, and I got destroyed, and it was like instantly I was like, man, I gotta learn what this is. I gotta learn what this is.
Right.
And once I've kind of bit into it and started diving a little bit deep into jiu-jitsu, man, I just got hooked. I got so hooked, and it was just like, yeah, man.
It'll do that to you. It'll do that to you. And I think the real reason for that, personally, is because it's not like, say, Muay Thai, which you really got to be an athlete if you want to be able to successfully, be a Muay Thai specialist. You got to be an athlete. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
you could get away with not being an actual athlete and being a dangerous jiu-jitsu practitioner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Good technique. Good technique never fails.
Never fails. You get to a good position, you get to your position, shoot, you can make things happen against anybody, as long as you're not Francis.
Oh yeah, man. I think what I love about another aspect I love about it so much is that my daughter does it.
Oh,
so she's well, we don't have a kids class now. We're still working on that, but when she does come to class, she likes to participate, and she's like, Daddy, I want to compete too. So it's like,
wow,
yeah, man.
Wow.
But we got a lot to work on, man, because she's only 8, so I'm not expecting her to take it serious because we're not that that militant of a school, like a lot of competition style schools, because we're not even a competition style school. I don't even know what we are yet.
Gotcha.
So depending on how many people that we get come in, I'll start kind of change it up from there. But right now it's kind of like the basic stuff, learning terminology, learning the fundamentals, learning how to. What I like to drill home is learning how to use your body as another language, because with jiu-jitsu, you're learning how to walk again, basically.
Absolutely.
Every 100% of the people, they everyone walks upright, unless obviously you have a disability, but everyone walks on their feet. No one slides across the ground.
Right.
No one does all these crazy movements to get from point A to point B. That's just us. That's just jiu-jitsu. So teaching people how to use their body on the ground as if they're learning how to walk again has been like my main thing.
Right.
Because everyone's like, oh man, I don't even know how to, because you teach them like a basic shrimp, or we call it snakes, and you can see it in their face. They're like kind of like, they're herky jerky trying to figure out how to move.
Right.
But I'm like, yeah, you just gotta take your time, man. So just being able to break that down, even to the simplest thing on how I explain how to do a basic snake, or what I said, a shrimp. And that's how I run it, man. I want people to be able to understand it the best way as possible. It seems to work because learning a new martial art, learning anything new can be intimidating.
For sure.
And the last thing I want to do is deter that person, because who knows that next person that's going to walk through my door. I can have the next Gordon Ryan in my class right now, but I would never know if I don't take the time and really teach them what they want to learn.
Right. Absolutely. Very good way to put it.
Because I have a guy, his name is Caleb. He's a wrestler. He does boxing, kickboxing, all this stuff. And he used to train with us at our old school, but now he's with me at the new spot. And he's way, way, way more consistent than he was at our last spot. So it's really been fun trying to mold him, get him together because he wants to learn it and I want to teach it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, man, we got such a small class. It's usually maybe like 1 or 2 people, but majority of the time just be like just me and him. So I was like, well, bro, we just gonna work the basics. We're gonna work the basics. We're gonna get them right. But now that I'm fully healed and I'm able to back to train, we really starting to today is my first class really back. So it's really about to it's about to kick up a little bit. So
that's awesome. What a blessing. I was just about to touch on what you said. Yeah, it can be tough. Having not so many students because obviously you want to give them more looks. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I've had trouble in that same department, but like I had my student Dason, he's gotten real good in a short period of time. I tell him all the time, but he didn't see it until he went to the tournament.
Yeah,
because these were his words. He goes when he had knee on belly, he goes, it was nothing like yours, and it made me like understand like from his perspective, like because I try to show him the levels to things. I always up it up a little bit to where I can, or whenever he gets a little better, I'll get a little better, so that way he knows that there's levels to things. But when he was going up against this person in his bracket, he realized that the skill gap was major. And even though he got knee on belly, because he might not be able to get away from knee on belly when I'm there, but he said the dude felt light. He said he wasn't even heavy, and he's a really strong dude. He works out all the time, very impressive physique. So, I'm not surprised, but to him, he thought he was not good. He thought he was just sucking. You know what I mean? But like in reality, it's like you need to see other people to understand like where you're at. It's like a good measuring stick is going up against other people that you don't know. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. And I noticed that too with a couple other guys we trained with their first time ever doing a tournament. And from the time they were training to the time they did the tournament and to like after, especially like one of my guys, he just got his purple belt a couple weeks ago, right before the new year.
Let's go.
And his mindset was like he was kind of there, kind of in and out of it. We were kind of like thinking he was gonna quit because it was like how he was like carrying himself. But I was like, once he find that love again for it, man, I think he'll be all right. But leading up to him wanting to do the tournament, he would come to me like, hey, Lamar, let's can we work XYZ, or I've been looking at this, or he just been coming up with game plans for what he want to do. And like, I mean, he was trying to map out every single type of scenario. Like, oh, if he gets this, if he gets this takedown, or if I get this, I'm gonna go for this, and this, and that. And after he did the tournament, man, his whole mindset changed when he became like a mat. I'm gonna say like a mat general, but he became that third person that we can depend on to help out. And it's been a complete change in him, man. I love it. And especially giving him his purple belt, it was kind of exciting because it's like, dude, I've seen people earn their belts, but you earned your purple belt. Like, I can't take this from you, man. So
wow,
it's been awesome, man.
That's a blessing, man. That's speaking of belts, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's been very, very hard to get respect from, I had my student's friend want to train with us, but his grandma wouldn't let him train with us because I was only a blue belt. And that's kind of sort of the scenarios that I'm kind of talking about. Like, she has no idea what jiu-jitsu is, has no idea anything, you know what I'm saying? But all she heard that I'm not at the highest level of what it's considered the highest level. And that was enough for her to say, no, you know what I'm saying? So it's things like that kind of really, really suck. But at the same time, that's why I'm doing my best to try and collect accolades as a blue belt. I did because I did 3 Fuji tournaments this year. One in Springfield, Illinois, one in St. Louis, and one in Chicago, expert. And I got first place at all 3 of them. You know what I mean? And then I went to ADCC, and I was able to win a match. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I'm not terrible. You know what I mean? So it's like I can do jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? So it really sucks whenever I hear people that don't know anything, treat me like that because I'm a nice person in the first place. So I'm not really going to go into it. You know what I mean? But like, it's like I really wish I could be like, well, just watch me roll for a little bit, you know what I mean, and then make your, you know what I mean, then make your decision on whether or not. But it's like I'm really trying to build accolades so I don't have to do that, if you get what I mean.
Right. And I mean, it comes with it, man. I mean, unfortunately, it's not like, everyone knows what jiu-jitsu is. They just think because you're not a master at it, you don't know what you're doing. I had a situation kind of similar to that where we had this lady sign her son up for jiu-jitsu. We don't have a kids class. So it just so happened one of my training partners, he brought his son. So I had them working together. And the way I handle kids class, I don't do a whole hour and a half. I just do 45 minutes.
Yep, smart.
I do that. I because it's like it's only so much you can give them. So much, they're not gonna retain all this stuff
and want to do.
Right. So I know we're going over, and it's another way I approach. If you ever do kids class, I highly recommend doing this because it works for me. Whatever technique I'm doing. So just say, for example, I'm doing a triangle from guard. I'll show the triangle from guard. I'll break it down into as many steps as needed. Then when I do it again, I have them tell me what to do next. So like I'll say, okay, feet in the hips, arm, arm through the middle, shoot the leg up, bite the leg down, blah, blah, blah. And I'll say, okay, so for example, you in my kids class, I'll say, okay, Jake, what do I do first? X, Y, Z, what do I do next? Blah, blah, just trying to get them more engaged, and it helps them learn. And the kid that I had he'd never done a martial art. And the way I was, he was approaching it was like perfect. And I'm kind of like, picking with him a little bit. I'm like, you sure you never did this?
Right.
Are you sure? And he's like excited. He's getting happy and all this other stuff. But, after class, he's, excited. So I'm like, I'm going to see you Thursday. He's like, yeah. But his mom goes to tell the owner of the school, like, I don't think I'm going to sign them up because only thing that she saw them doing was playing soccer at the end of class.
Gotcha.
So it was just like, it sucks. But, it is what it is. Because she was like, I thought he was going to, be doing jiu-jitsu, but he's playing soccer. And he's asking me about it. Like, what happened with the kids class? I was like, well, with kids class, you can't give them a lot.
Right.
You never really want to overstimulate a kid.
You're doing
so it was like, I was like, I do a 45-minute class. I do warm-ups, I do basics, and I do one, maybe two techniques. But typically it's one technique broken down for that whole 45 minutes. I think that's perfect amount of time for kids to do jiu-jitsu class.
Right.
Unless they're like competitors where they have to kind of like, drilled routines and stuff like that. I don't know. We're just, whatever. But he was like, I'm not questioning you, but, I just wanted to know so I can get an understanding. I'm like, it's fine. I'm not, I'm not mad at nothing. It comes with the territory. It just comes with it. So
yep,
it is what it is.
That's great. With it. It sucks though, because, sometimes you want people to, you want to share, as it's almost like the gospel. You want to share the word of jiu-jitsu. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it sucks when somebody for a reason like that it gets deterred. You know what I mean? Because it's like, man, I had so much to show you. You were a training partner. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
right, like you were doing so good, man. Right. But mom said no, so
right. That's the worst.
Man.
I've had some amazing people with amazing potential come through. And maybe just like 2 or 3, but didn't see the value in possibly staying there. You know what I mean? And so that's, to another thing that I do, because I'm a beginning school, so I do my best to just get people in here and try and train with us, right? So anybody who has any membership anywhere around here is allowed to come to my gym. You know what I'm saying? Free of charge, and that's just to get bodies in here and try and show people that Feral BJJ is here, if you get what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
And I'm more training partners for my students. So I make it really hard for myself to run a business. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's not my goal. So like I work for what I have, and then I do my jiu-jitsu business really as a way to train myself and to bless these people that want to train. You know what I mean? Because honestly, I don't ask any of them for money. If I'm being honest with you, I have this.
You do it for the love.
I do it for the love. If they want to ever bless me in some type of donation type of way, then they're more than welcome to do that. But I'm blessed right now to where I have a space that somebody lets me use the space, and so I'm trying to build the clientele to a point where I can be like, hey, everybody, it would be dope if we could start, if we started getting a real class in there, it would be dope if everybody could start paying a monthly tuition at a certain discounted rate. You know what I mean? But as of right now, I'm just trying to get people in there, just trying to get bodies in there. So I don't do the jiu-jitsu aspect of my life to make money. I do it because I love to do it. I do it because I see it. I always say there's only two things in life that I'm good at, and it's jiu-jitsu and Rocket League. So, and I don't think I'm going to become a professional at Rocket League. So I'm doing my best to try and see how far I can take jiu-jitsu, basically.
Man, the sky's the limit, though, man. You're on the right path from what I can tell, man. And I definitely.
Thank you.
Definitely hope that skyrockets for you, man.
Thank you, bro. I really do appreciate that, man. It's been a blessing talking to you.
Oh yeah. So real quick, so the name. I like to talk to people, especially who own schools. The name Pharaoh BJJ. Where did that come from, man?
I am so happy you asked. Do I have it in here with me? Hold on, 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay, that one ran away. Where are we at? So the name comes from my love of cats.
Wow. Okay.
I'm a big cat person, right? Like humongous cat person. Nobody would really guess. Okay, but I know cats can kind of seem feminine. I thought of like feline BJJ, and I was like, man, that doesn't sound masculine enough. Right, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And then I'm like rethinking, revising, and I'm like feral. I'm like feral cats. You know what I'm saying? And I haven't heard anybody take that avenue yet. And I know things are about branding, and if I'm able to skyrocket the feral brand, I think it'd be a big brand. To be honest with you, people love cats. Like people love cats, they really do. Like there's a big niche for cats, and it's unfortunate because like I do YouTube videos, and I did one video with my cat, and all my other videos are jiu-jitsu videos, and they have maybe 100 to 300 views, and then my cat video has like 2,000 something views, and it's just it goes to for real though. It goes to show you like the algorithm is on the internet is catered to certain things.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So if you can combine two things, you might be able to increase the lesser of it. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Even my logo, I'll probably send it to you later. My logo, it's dope. My first student helped me make it. It's just like a circle, and then it's got like four scratches on it. You know what I'm saying? And it looks dope. And it says Feral BJJ. And I'm really, really proud of it. And I'm really, really thankful of my student for making it for me. But it's perfect for the branding of what I'm doing. Because I'm just trying to basically tell people that a cat lover's got a gym.
That's awesome, man. I like that.
That's awesome. I appreciate you asking. I was honestly meaning to bring it up, but
no, I was gonna get to it, man, because I get a lot of school, a few school owners on here, and I'm always curious, man, because especially for like, for me, I love the meaning, I love everything has to have a meaning, So when it comes to like, school names, I be want to know like what how'd you come up with this name? What was like the thought process, like the thought process behind it? So I'm always intrigued by stuff like that, man.
That's awesome. One of my I would say one of our slogans would be come learn jiu-jitsu with us, learn how to be nimble like a cat.
Hey, it's a good pitch, man. It's a good pitch.
That's awesome.
I mean, look, hey, be ferocious as a tiger, nimble as a cat, right?
You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's okay. Okay.
There you go.
I might have to give you some royalties for that one.
No,
that was a good one.
Only thing I ask is, you pay it for it, and when when your school blow up, man, forget about me. you come back on the show once your school blow up, man. We talk about it some more, man.
Just the fact that you said that, because I 100% believe that in one way, shape, or form, me and my students are gonna blow this up. So, what a blessing that you said that. I appreciate your belief in me.
Oh yeah, man.
Really means a lot. So, and I hope the same for you, man. I hope the same for you.
Man.
Starting, I hope you blow your stuff up, and I hope we can meet at the top with 2 big old gyms.
For sure, man. For sure, man. For sure. Now, before you go, man, we always ask everybody to come on the show. This question. Your top 3 people, man, you would love to get a chance to roll with, past or present.
Wow, I'm so happy you asked this question. This is you have some good questions, man.
Thank you.
Great one though. This one I'm really, really excited to answer. I would say my number 1 answer, I'm so happy to say this, is Craig Jones.
Oh yeah.
That's number 1. And I would say a lot of my adaptation from wrestling to jiu-jitsu, I learned a lot watching him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
His knee shields, his intricacies in how he does his leg attacks, his freakish strength in certain positions. It's unmatched. I would say he's probably one of the very top people that I'd like to roll with to learn from. So my second favorite guy that I'd probably want to roll with, to be honest with you, would probably be Marcelo Garcia. The way that he would take on like Goliath-like people and bring them down like, they were less than his size was very, very impressive to me. And really, really, really honestly got me more into the sport, because I realized that you didn't have to be a big hulking monster to be able to defeat some of these people. So that was a big icon for me, growing up. And then I think the third person, Gordon Ryan.
Oh yeah, man. Gotta roll with the king, man. Got to roll with the king.
He's the best. If it wasn't for him right now, I think Craig would probably be number 1 spot for me personally. But Gordon Ryan, he's just, what he does is just, it's unmatched. His pressure from on top is insane. His knowledge in every position is insane. You can't go wrong with having a session with Gordon. Like, if you didn't do something right, I'm sure you'll do it. I'm sure you'll do it right after that. You know what I
mean? Yeah. I'm definitely sure. Sure.
Yeah. That dude is next level. So it's very humbling to even see that type of possibility in a sport. You know what I mean? Like he dwarfs some of the best people out there. He made Pedro look like, you know what I mean? Like,
starched him.
Right. It's insane. So I'm very, very impressed with him right now. And I would say if I had to pick a third person, it would be Gordon Ryan.
Yeah, man. Definitely, man. All right, man. So unless you got any other questions for me, man, I would love for you to let the people know what you got going on, man. Big shout out to Pharaoh BJJ, man. Like I said, I hope it grows to monumental expectations, man. But like, if you got any other questions, fire away. If not, man, let the people know what you got coming up, man. The floor is all yours.
I just want to thank you so much for letting me on your podcast. I hope that me spreading some of my story, give some motivation to some other people who maybe been going through a hard time. Because jiu-jitsu is a very good avenue to release stress, and also just it keeps you confident and motivated in every other aspect of your life. If you're working hard in the jiu-jitsu mats, you're going to be working hard, in my opinion, on every mat of your life, whether that's at work or at home, cleaning your house or taking care of your animals or whatever it is. So I just want to say that, and I also want to say, if you guys want to take a look at my YouTube channel, Jake McDonald on YouTube. So that's it.
All right, man. Good talking to you, bro. Like I said, I'll definitely love to have you back later on to see how everything is going for you, brother.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure, Lamar. You have a good one.
Likewise, man. And that's the end of today's episode. I would love to thank Jake one more time for coming on the show and blessing us with his jiu-jitsu knowledge. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please go and follow our Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube page to stay updated on all future episodes. This has been Talk Your Jits podcast. Keep rolling, keep grinding, and remember, long live jiu-jitsu. Have a great day.
Guys.